Last episode, there was a £50 million midfield revolution at Fulham as three new arrivals walked through the doors at Craven Cottage, but today we're kicking off the episode with an absolute bombshell because it's a standard Friday morning. I arrive for training bright and early, feeling positive about the day ahead when my phone is ringing off the hook. Staff are running around like crazy at the Fulham training ground, and our press officer tells me I'm booked for an urgent press conference in the next couple of minutes because the press want my thoughts on the bombshell news that's dropped late last night and what impact it has on my future and the future of the football club, because it seems a huge deal has been brokered in West London deep into the late hours of Thursday night and Friday morning as American entrepreneur, one of the richest men on the planet, the man who revolutionised online shopping as we know it today, Jeff Bezos, has decided to buy a stake in Fulham Football Club. And in his first meeting with me, he tells me he's taken a look at the club's infrastructure and ambition and he's not happy. He's planning a Jim Radcliffe-style revolution at Fulham, and if I'm not on board, nor if I fail to meet his expectations, I can see myself out. He sees the American market as a huge platform for growth at the club and wants us to find the next Clint Dempsey or Brian McBride who can lead the club to glory. He doesn't care how we do it, but he wants an American captain for the club in the next few years and someone who the entire team can be built around. And judging by what's being said in some of the Fulham fan forums, it seems like his ambition has already rubbed off onto the fans. I'm from the US, and if you don't play Tim Ream, I will unsubscribe. Do you remember when Brian McBride played for Fulham? Clint Dempsey, you need to bring them out of retirement to play for you or I will unsubscribe. You also need to make a digital version of me and put me as your main striker or I will unsubscribe. Make me handsome too, because I am, or I will unsubscribe. Now, I'm not quite sure I've got the power to bring people out of retirement, and I certainly don't have the power to make you look handsome. I'm a good manager, but I'm not a miracle worker. Jeff has, however, given me the budget to try and bolster some of the youth scouting at the club, bringing in some of the best scouting talent across all different corners of the globe, because he's taken a look at our current youth academy and he is thoroughly unimpressed. We've got no players whatsoever who can be considered having a high potential, and that is why he has ordered me to send out one of my newly recruited scouts, obviously to his native United States, to see if they can uncover some of the best young talent that America has got to show for itself. And with that side of the world being a high priority, he's of course open to me looking out in Canada as well, and across the border over to Mexico to see what best young talents there are in North America. So with me waiting on tender hooks, hoping that those scouts can come back with some of the best young talent in that area, once again it's time for me to ask some of the senior existing scouts that I've already got at the club, what type of experienced American talent could I potentially welcome to the club and may well have captain potential written all over them. Let me know down below what you think in the comments. It begs the question though, have I given this man Tim Ream enough of a chance? He's a club legend, but at 35 years of age, he's yet to make an appearance this season despite him being considered a leader of men amongst the squad. But especially since the arrival of the 23-year-old Josip Sutalu, who's been an absolute monster at the back for me in the opening few games of this season, forming a pretty decent partnership with the Frenchman Issa Diop at the back. So far at least, there hasn't really been a place for the veteran American in my back line. Now obviously with him leaving Fulham in real life, I was planning on sticking him on the transfer list and letting him go, especially maybe in the January transfer window. But with new American leadership at the helm at Fulham Football Club, that could well go down like a lead balloon. So once again, I'm turning to you guys for advice as to what you think I should do. Should I risk the wrath of Jeff Bezos and put Tim Ream out to the curb, or should I give the American one last opportunity to have a proper farewell here at Fulham Football Club? Let me know down below what you think. Speaking of given chances though, one man who I have promised to give a chance to at least until January is this man Rodrigo Munoz. With him having that something special and just being 22 years of age, he struggled in the opening couple of games of the season, but in the very last couple of games, in the last episode, he chipped in with 2 goals in 2 games, and suddenly it feels like his season has come to light. However, with an aging Raul Jimenez floating around in the background and realistically not being a long-term option in reserve for me, there are still rumours swirling about the club and in the press that I might well be on the hunt for a brand new striker in January. And it seems like after being recommended to sign Cucho Hernandez last episode, his agent is now going one step further, coming and knocking on my door and arguing his case. Hey, I hope you're having a great day. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Cucho Hernandez's agent, and I think my client is ready for a move back to Europe. He's proven himself in MLS by scoring more than 40 goals in his 3 years in the MLS, and it would be a great time for him to go back to Europe and be one of your stars on this rebuild you're having with Fulham. Thanks for your attention, and I hope you have a great day. Well, when the transfer mill starts, there's always an agent sniffing at the door, but he could well be onto something with this man Cucho Hernandez. With him just being 24 years of age, his best years ahead of him, already a 78 rated, he would come in and be the best striker at the club. He also has got great versatility, not just being able to play up front, but also on the left-hand side of midfield as well, which is a position that I know I have been struggling with so far this season. Now, obviously, the summer transfer window has slammed shut, and we do have a few more more months until the new January one opens. And with Rodrigo Munoz responding really well to my criticism at the opening part of this season, it's time for Raul Jimenez to see if he can do the same and see if he still has enough to warrant the reserve striking spot. Because if he doesn't, it looks like come January, Cucho Hernandez may well be the front runner. However, with all the talk of Jeff Bezos joining Fulham, it seems like there's another huge celebrity fan that has gone slightly under the radar, and he's someone that's never going to let any Fulham fan down. Because hi there, it's Rick Astley reporting for duty here. I've observed that in the middle of the park, you're pretty much lacking Buendia, Iwobi, Tete and Robinson are getting frustrated that their crosses are not seemingly meeting anyone's head or feet effectively. Hence, here are some suggestions for some effective midfield finishers, either as options for the bench or starters even. Matt O'Reilly can replace Pereira as he's versatile throughout the midfield. Harvey Elliott, who's frustrated at his lack of opportunities in Liverpool, could be a great goal-scoring midfielder. Rayan Cherki has fallen off over the years of hype and wants to prove himself in a team where he can grow with and build a new French contingent. And finally, Aymar from Osasuna wants to be the next Fabregas, but cannot find his break in the bigger London clubs like Chelsea and Arsenal. What a coup it is if Fulham could grab this opportunity. So firstly, it's always nice to see a friendly celebrity face become a fan of the club. And depending on our performances across the course of this career mode, I wonder if any more are going to join him. But firstly, let's start looking into some of the recommendations that Rick has provided. Starting off with this man, Matt O'Reilly. The 22-year-old Dane offers us that versatility that you know I love. And whilst I did just bring in two new central midfielders, one of those being Nicolas Dominguez, who has been playing well since joining. The other in Sander Berge has really struggled to get to grips with life in a Fulham shirt, still tussling for a starting spot with the 32-year-old Scotsman Tom Kearney, meaning that come January there may still well be a spot open in the heart of my midfield, and I'm sure Matt O'Reilly could be a viable option. Now, Harvey Elliott has that Premier League experience that I was craving in the summer transfer window, and obviously coming from such a big club in Liverpool, I'm sure he will be desperate to get some first team opportunities elsewhere. I've mentioned I see Andreas Pereira being the creative fulcrum of this team, but with him being the only senior creative central attacking midfielder at the club, should anything happen to him, Harvey Elliott, just like Matt O'Reilly, could well be a viable option as well. And I think Rayan Cherki falls into that very same boat. At 20 years of age, he is the same age as Harvey Elliott. Yes, he doesn't have that all-important Premier League experience, but look at his play styles and look at his stats and his high attacking work rate. It also looks like he can play out wide on the right-hand side of midfield, and with the likes of Harry Wilson and Adama Traore flattering to deceive over on that side. Once again, it's another solid suggestion. And finally, Aymar Oroz. I've got to be honest, I don't really know too much about the 21-year-old Spaniard, but if some of the bigger clubs like Chelsea and Arsenal are sniffing around for his signature, we're going to have to move quick if we want to get ahead of them. Let's see what the full scout report comes back with before I make a decision on whether or not I want to pursue him any further. But now though, after moving through the gears in the Premier League, getting a 1-1 away draw against Palace, before scraping through on penalties 3-2 against Everton in the Carabao Cup, it is finally time for our very first West London derby of the entire season, as the fans wait in bated breath as they head in towards Craven Cottage, because Fulham are going to be hosting Chelsea in an absolutely colossal tie here at Craven Cottage. And after much deliberation, I've decided to go with the following starting 11. Leno starting goal with Tete, Diop, Sutalo and Robinson at the back. Sander Berge comes back into the centre of the park for another opportunity to partner Dominguez with Buendia, Pereira, Iwobi behind Munoz up front. Here we go then. Jeff Bezos is in the arena here today, watching live for the very first time in the hope to see us go toe-to-toe with some of the best players that the Premier League has to offer in Chelsea Football Club. Let's see whether or not we can put a smile on the face of the American billionaire. But it's Dominguez to start us off, and he plays it out to Tete on the right-hand side. Just tries to dink it over into Buendia. Well headed away, though, by Colwell. Colwell, though, only out as far as Tete once again, and Andreas Pereira took it on. What a quality save there from Sanchez. Really good start here in the opening 10 minutes here for Fulham Football Club. Exactly what Mr. Bezos would love to see, as it's floated in for Sander Berge. He had the opportunity to get his first goal in a Fulham shirt. He couldn't take it, and look at the disappointment on his face. He rose highest, and he should have just dinked that header into the top left-hand corner. Instead, looped it over the bar, and that's a huge chance gone begging. There's Robinson once again, this time into Sander Berge, who's been heavily involved so far, which is much, much better from the Norwegian, and I'm sure he'll be much happier as Dominguez picks it up and lines up a shot from distance. Forces Sanchez into another smart save. On the corner into Diop, into Dominguez. Dominguez now into Sander Berge. Sander Berge has the option of Iwobi. Can't find him though. That was very slow from Sander Berge. And that has pretty much been the story of his Fulham career so far. Everything has been a little bit too slow, a little bit too wayward, but he's got another opportunity to find a pass into Andres Pereira. Caicedo though with a really good challenge. Pereira though trying to force the issue here. We've got 3 men up here. Fofana's being chased down by that man, Sander Berge. Only out for a throw though. It's Caicedo once again. Sander Berge pressing so high but can't win the ball back here. Gallagher has it now. Fofana out wide to Reece James. Reece James does get the better of my fullback and eventually Cole Palmer now picks it up in space. That's really poor from the English international. You would expect much better, and it's really, really easy for the Croatian Sutalo to deal with. And he picks it back up once again and brings it out of defence into Iwobi. Iwobi round the corner, over the top into Anthony Robinson on the left-hand side. Robinson is going to try and see if he can burst past Reece James here. He does burst past Reece James, floated over to the back post. Easy for Cucurella to header away. We're knocking at the door, but we can't break it down so far. Reece James, though, bursting into space. He doesn't have any options. Instead, finds Nicholas Jackson ahead of him. Nicholas Jackson trying to get into the penalty area. Can he get past Sutalo? Almost does. Sutalo, though, just about doing enough to force the issue, and Leno smothers the chance as the referee blows for half-time. I think it was a fairly evenly matched opening 45 minutes. I think both teams had chances. You could argue we had the better of the two teams, but we couldn't make it count. And now it starts the second half at 0-0. And the Berge picks it up once again, turning, twisting, trying to find an angle, but can't quite find one. Sutalo under a bit of pressure, does a really good job of bursting away from said pressure though. Robinson now picks it up, back into the Croatian. Sutalo, nice little ball into Dominguez, who's found a nice little pocket of space, and he tried to play that across to the right-hand side. It's a really poor ball though from the Argentinian. He tries to see if he can put a challenge into Sterling, and he doesn't do a good enough job of winning it back. Sterling though can't get there ahead of Tete. He read it really well, and now Tete surely can try and release Buendia on the right-hand side, who took it really nicely and plays it back into Dominguez. Dominguez into Rodrigo Munoz now. The young man from the edge of the box strikes straight at the goalkeeper though. Emi Buendia so far has been a fairly peripheral figure in this game. Throws a lovely ball over to Robinson. Robinson into Iwobi, and Iwobi back into Munoz, and Munoz this time takes it on, and now he has a shot with his left. Once again, Sanchez is equal to it. With half an hour on the clock, we've got to do something to try and breathe some new life into this team. So Andres Pereira and Sander Berge both come off. Kearney and Adama Traore coming on. Adama Traore hopefully is going to inject some muscle and some pace down that right-hand side as Buendia will go into the centre, and he will be the man to take this corner. Floats it in, looking for the head of the right-back. Tete manages to find that head, but it's Kearney who picks it back up again. Back across to Buendia. Floats it in. This time he finds the head of Diop. It's off the post, but Diop is trying to bundle his way through. In the end, Chelsea just about get rid of it, but that's been the best chance of the game so far. Nicholas Jackson is almost blocked off by Tete, but he's managed to get the ball into the feet of Gallagher, who's bustling his way through here. Out to Reece James on the right-hand side, looking for the overlap. Doesn't need the overlap. Plays it back into Gallagher. Lovely pass into Jackson. Jackson into Sterling. And the referee blows his whistle. It looks like it's going to be a free kick. I believe it is. Jackson just offside. We breathe a sigh of relief. I thought that was going to be a penalty there. Into Iwobi. Alex Iwobi forward into Kearney. Kearney stayed onside. The Scotsman's in here. Kearney all the way. And he does it yet again. Tom Kearney cannot be denied. He gets another goal this season for Fulham. And this man is doing absolutely everything he can to help his cause become the #1 central midfielder once again at the club. He drove into the box. He did more than Sander Berge has been able to do in an entire hour. And he's done so in about 10 minutes. He's absolutely delighted. He punches the air with delight. It's 1-0 Fulham, and Kunku for Chelsea though. Into Nicholas Jackson, looking to respond with immediate effect here. As Sutalo though does a really good job of winning the ball back. Exactly what you want to see from your commanding centre-back, and that is a beautiful ball down the line. Looking for Dominguez. It's well read though by the Chelsea defence, and it's cleared away into the path of Cole Palmer. Now back into Nicholas Jackson. This game's starting to get stretched, which is not really what I want here. Nicholas Jackson into the path of Sterling. No, he takes it on himself. This time does go back to Sterling and floats it across. Sutalo just about got a nod onto it into the path of Diop, and it's cleared out to Iwobi, who's going to try and see if he can burst down the left-hand side here, looking for the little dink run over to Munoz. He takes it on, and Munoz takes that down beautifully. Munoz all the way into the box, and Rodrigo Munoz gets his third goal in as many games. Rodrigo Munoz, with about 4 minutes left on the clock, surely has done enough to claim a famous 3 points for Fulham under the lights, with the big man Jeff Bezos watching in attendance. The fans go absolutely wild. We've done it against our arch rivals. A brilliant moment for Fulham, and a brilliant moment once again for the young man Rodrigo Munoz. That is a fabulous finish after a wonderful touch and turn and drive into the box. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Fulham to get us back on track in the Premier League. It's 2-0. Chelsea have a throw though. Have they got one last throw of the dice yet to come here, as Nkunku has it on the edge? Tete, though, gives away a corner. And now deep into stoppage time, the goalkeeper's coming up. I'm not really sure what he's hoping to try and achieve here. With Chelsea already being 2 goals down, can they at least get a consolation? Once again, my defence will be hoping to stay firm and get that clean sheet as Kearney heads it clear. Only as far as Nkunku volleys it down into Cucurella, who makes a right hash of it. Leno picks up the scraps as the referee blows for full time. Well, that is exactly what our brand new shareholder would love to see. Jeff Bezos sees his team claim our first 3 points of this episode against our arch rivals Chelsea, as it finishes here 2-0. And another inspired substitution has won it for us. I've got to be honest, I don't think it's any secret that I have kind of slowly been trying to phase Tom Kearney out of my starting 11 with the arrival of the likes of Sander Berge and Nicolas Dominguez, but with the Norwegian being absolutely shocking in his opening few games, it's left the door back open for the 32-year-old veteran Scotsman to come back in, and my word, what a run of performances he's putting on. 3 goals and 2 assists in 8 appearances. He's totally outshining the Norwegian, who's 4 years his junior, who still is yet to get an assist or a goal since joining the club. And with Nicolas Dominguez struggling also to do the same thing as well, is our captain fantastic, showing the Fulham new arrivals exactly how it's done. One man though who once again is leading the way is this man Rodrigo Munoz. He's got at something special, and my word, he's really starting to show it. He seems to have got his confidence back, and scoring against our arch rivals will do that the world of good as well. And after a good spell of games at our opening 7, we find ourselves in 6th place in the Premier League, and we're just a point off of the European spots. I know Jeff had some high hopes about what this club can achieve in the long term, but with the collection of averageness that I was greeted with when I first joined the club, I don't think anyone was expecting such a good start to the season. And after maintaining our unbeaten run this episode, getting a 1-1 draw against Sheffield United, the tests continue to come. This time though, it's going to be a test that we're going to have to remain in London for, but travel to the other side, as we're going to be facing off against the North London Giants in Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. In a game, once again, we go in as underdogs 4, but with us being on such a great run of form, I'm hoping that we can spring a surprise once again under the lights. There's only one change to the team that beat Chelsea so comprehensively, and that is that the goal scorer, Tom Kearney, of course, comes back into the starting 11 with Sander Berge dropping to the bench. But it's Sutalo here for Fulham to get a start in. He plays a nice short pass into Diop, trying to beat that Spurs press here as Dominguez picks up a nice little pocket of space in the heart of the midfield here. Rodrigo Munoz skips away, plays a lovely ball into Iwobi, who's just straight offside though. Spurs have a free kick though. The Heung-min Son is going to be the man to take. Floated into the edge of the penalty area. Rodrigo Munoz doing his bit right on the edge of our box here, winning the ball back and giving it to Buendia. Buendia's going to try and float it over to Andreas Pereira. He's not going to have the beating of the Dutch international Mickey van der Ven though. Absolutely no chance whatsoever. He's hunting him down though, but he does such a good job there, Mickey van der Ven, and then goes and gives it away to Iwobi. Iwobi gets himself in all sorts of bother though, falling over, and Andreas Pereira eventually manages to win the ball back here. We've won it back high, and that's exactly what we will want to see, as will the fans. Tom Kearney into Dominguez. Dominguez with his first chance on goal, and he just lashes that one well wide. Nice pass out to Emerson Royale on the right-hand side. Royale, though, gives it away to Anthony Robinson. And Robinson now can burst forward once again down the left-hand side. It seems like everything's coming down that left flank so far. Throws it into the box. Oh, it's just behind Andreas Pereira. He was looking for the head. He was so close. That could have been a wonderful opportunity. But Dominguez wins the ball back from Heung-min Son. No, he doesn't. Goes off for a throw. Nice pass into Udogie, but Udogie is blocked off. But he somehow managed to win the ball back. And he's managed to give it back to the South Korean Heung-min Son. The Spurs captain plays it back into the Italian. Teremi, though, back round into the left back here. He's got the beating of Tete down that side. Throws it into the box. Looking for the back post of Kulusevski. It's off the post. Big opportunity for Spurs. Diop for Fulham. This game really starting to open up here. Tete, though, on the right-hand side. Tried to play it forward, but Udogie won it back well. And Udogie's looking to release Heung-min Son. It's a really poor pass. Easily intercepted there by Diop. And Diop, though, gives it into Dominguez, who's under a bit of pressure. But he's done a really good job of wriggling away from that pressure and feeding it out to Robinson on the left-hand side. Into Iwobi. Iwobi plays it into the path of Tom Kearney. Tom Kearney certainly not going to have the pace to get away from the defenders, but he does have the guile and the wherewithal to play it into Robinson, who cuts it back into Andreas Pereira. Gets the shot all wrong. It's blocked off. That was a big chance. But as we begin the second half here, it still remains 0-0. Both teams have had opportunities. We've had some decent ones. Spurs have hit the post, but so far neither team can take the advantage. We've got to hope that we can make a change to that in the second 45. Tete brings it out into Buendia, who once again has been pretty quiet, but he's going to try and see if he can change that here as he shifted onto his left. Goes past one, goes past two. Tried to just curl it round the arms of Vicario, but he was equal to it. Nice pass into Robinson. Robinson now has space to go into here, and he goes into the penalty area, looking for the cutback, finds it into Munoz. What a flying save from Vicario. Tete into Dominguez. Dominguez now plays it forward, tries to play it past Højbjerg. It was really well intercepted by the Dane, and now Teremi brings it away into Heung-min-son. Has he got the pace to get away from Diop? No, he doesn't. Really good defending, and Diop now floats it across into the path of Buendia, who's going to try and see if he can go one-on-one with the doggy. Takes it into the centre of the park, tries to cut it back. It's well intercepted though by Romero. This is real end-to-end stuff here on the hour mark in the second half. Teremi now blocked off by Dominguez, who's doing a really good job of just mopping up every single Tottenham attack so far. Iwobi round the corner into Tom Kearney. Kearney looking for that pass forward, instead plays it back out to Iwobi on the left hand side, and now the young man drives into the box. It doesn't have an option in the box and takes it on. Vicario, oh my word, it's all over the place, and Spurs got so lucky there off the bar. We couldn't get onto the second ball, and Vicario mops it up. But with some fatigue starting to creep into some of the first team players, I'm going to make a whole host of substitutions. You can see 4 new players all coming on with about 13 minutes plus stoppage time on the clock to try and see if they can inject some sort of energy into my attack. But at the moment it's Spurs who are on the attack. Floated in though, it's Udogie who's really high here. They've got pretty much all of their players inside my half. If we can try and break, it's a perfect opportunity to get a goal. But it's Heung-min-son who's looking to get the goal here as he drives to the edge of the box. Tete does a really good job of intercepting, and it's now Adama Traore into Sander Berge on as a substitute. And now the big man can use that pace to burst down this left-hand side. He's got the beating of Udogie. No one's going to catch Traore. All the way he goes to the edge of the box. He's looking for the cutback. Can he find it? He does find it into Raul Jimenez. Blocked off. Andreas Pereira is blocked off again. We've got a corner. I've got to take a moment to catch my breath here. This is end-to-end stuff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Absolutely electric game so far. It's floated in right to the edge of the box. We made a bit of a hash of that corner, it must be said. Adama Traore though back out to Pereira, who's got another opportunity to float it in. Davies though with the block. It's another corner. 2 minutes remaining on the clock. Pereira will take it once again. This time it's a better one into Sutalu. Headed clear though. Dominguez picks up the scraps. Back out to Pereira. He's going to float it in once again. It's too close to the goalkeeper. What on earth was Vicario doing? Made a real hash of that one. And now deep into stoppage time. Yet again Fulham have got their third corner on the bounce. Pereira looking for the third time lucky. Floated into Raul Jimenez with the big head. It's high and wide. And with the referee calling time on what was an absolutely exhilarating affair here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it will remain locked at 0-0 at full time. And whilst it's disappointing not to get on the score sheet, once again it's another solid performance from my defence. I think Josip Sutalu, now up to a 79 rated, has been signing of the summer so far for me in this career mode. Yet again he's got another clean sheet, and yet again he's putting in another fabulous performance at the heart of my defence. He's really starting to form a strong partnership with this man Issa Diop, and while some of the fans might be calling for a reappearance for this man Tim Ream, with him now being considered a player for the history books and seemingly on the decline as well, at 36 years of age, it's going to be a real tough task for the American to break back into this team. With things looking up though for the West London club, with us now creeping into 5th place in the Premier League. The question is though, with big money American investment into the team, how quickly is the pressure going to start mounting on these players, and just how long can we keep up this good form? Because that is going to be that for the end of today's episode. Thank you everyone for watching, hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time.